But we'll kick off with the first leg of our Supercar challenge. The 458 Speciale and 911 GT3 sit at the very top of the extreme sports car tree. But somehow we have to decide which is best. 3 tests will determine which offers the best combination of handling, performance and road manners. And because there's a lot at stake here, Fifth Gear has drafted in a man whose job it is to assess machines like this. Motoring journalist Chris Harris. Now then, Chris, you've actually got a bit of an advantage here because you've already driven both of these cars. You're also a renowned 911 lover, so I've decided to let you have the Porsche today. Well, I'll have the Ferrari.
That's very kind. I know that we're doing some head-to-heads here on track, and you've chosen the car that's got 100 and something horsepower more and weighs less.
Well, maybe, but I know how much you love the Porsche. I didn't want to take it away from you. I have to admit, though, when it comes to looks, of course, the Ferrari is the better-looking car, apart from this one being yellow. But I mean, look at that. Look at these little streaks down the front. Stunning.
No, I think it's overcomplicated. It's got these flipperies at the front. Look at these complicated bits.
That's styling.
Furthermore, Tiff,
What?
The price.
Well, it starts at £206,000.
So it's more than twice the price of this vehicle. So I'm talking bang per buck. This is the one.
You might have a point there. In fact, it's not just price where these cars differ, because, as Chris has pointed out, the Ferrari has more power than the Porsche, and it's also faster to 62 miles an hour. However, he also knows that the 911 always punches well above its weight, so it's hard to predict a winner. Round 1 will test our car's agility, acceleration and braking. First, we have to weave through a slalom course, then accelerate up to 100 miles an hour before hitting the brakes. The car that stops in the shortest distance wins. We're going to perform this test with the driver aid switched on to see just how well each car's electronics can cope with changes of direction and violent power delivery. The slalom will show how well the traction control works. I've got my Manatino setting in sport, the normal everyday road position. All the traction controls on. The question is, how much will it hold the Ferrari back? The Ferrari is over 100 kilograms lighter than the Porsche, which will help it to weave through the cones. Plus, it has carbon ceramic brakes as standard. It should stop quick. I think Mr. Harris is in for a bit of a shock, even in round 1.
Now, I think he's going to be around about here.
Have you got that cone ready to mark my positional stopping, Mr. Harris?
It's the orange thing by my feet.
He's going to be like all day.
I'd like you to go when I say 3, 2...
1, go!
Whoa, that felt like wheel spin, but it wasn't. You can virtually have full throttle now, and the traction's doing the job. The brakes are coming on, but this is the important one to accelerate out. I've hit the cone. Harris won't notice. 80, 90. Oh. Don't mention the cone.
I was literally about 4 feet off, come on.
Did you hear the gearbox? That's in automatic mode. You hear it changing down as I brake
it's mega. I mean, what's the penalty for knocking that cone over?
Ah, you noticed that, did you? I just tickled it. It won't make any difference. Even with the safety aids engaged, the Ferrari has swept through the course and, thanks to its race-spec brakes, brought me from 100 to a halt in an extremely short distance. It was a tough target for the Porsche to beat, but never discount German engineering.
911's interesting. It should be inherently disadvantaged because it's rear-engined and the Ferrari's mid-engines. The Ferrari should change direction better, but the Porsche's got this clever rear-wheel steering which effectively shortens the wheelbase in the way that the car behaves. And 911s are always surprising, aren't they? So I don't think it's going to get as duffed up as these guys think, but we will now find out.
A shorter wheelbase makes a car more nimble. So even though the 911 is heavier, it might keep up with the 458 through the cones.
Oh, it's very agile.
Like me, Chris had all the electronic aids on and the gearbox engaged in full auto.
It didn't kick down enough.
Which is clearly a bit slow to react. Now, Woody's brakes work as well as mine. All your hazard lights have come on. Have you been doing something dangerous?
But you've moved yours back.
I did not touch my cone. But I must admit, you stopped better than I thought.
So what we're saying is the difference in these two cars, £120,000 is that?
Well, yes, but that's a lot. If that was a
£120,000 is
How
that?
big would the crash have been if that had been a lorry or a brick wall?
I'm calling unfair and a rematch.
You don't get one. Go on. OK, Chris, you've exaggerated the price difference by 14 grand and had to pay £6,000 for your optional ceramic brakes. But as I won this test, I'll let that go. However, our Supercar challenge is far from over, and later we'll find out which has the better road manners and which is fastest around the track.
We do him up the inside. Damn.